went down to Carndone in the morning to the market with 2 pigs. That time they killed the pigs at home and took them down to Carndone to sell them, and they were away with the 2 pigs. And we had a few friends down from Derry stopping in the house, children, you know, down for the summer holidays. And we were all looking forward to them coming back home at night. And I was like a wee girl of 5. That was all the sense I had. I was 9, but I had no sense. Reared up in Illies, seen nothing. There were no wireless or no TV or nothing then free. And the only thing you saw was your neighbours round about. And you didn't see many of them either. And I was the youngest of 10. John and I, we were still at school, but the rest was away working. Except Bridget, she stayed at home all the time. She never left. And she looked after us. But it was sad.
Would it have been late at night when they would be coming home? Because that would have been the summertime, so they would...
It was about 6 o'clock. I remember Ned, my brother, coming in, and I asked, was Mummy and Daddy not home yet? Well, he says, if they're not home now, something must have happened to them. I can remember him saying that. And another one I remember is Kitty Watt, God have mercy on her. She was telling me, Mary, stop you crying, Maggie and Dad, and becoming the sweets. It rained the whole day, and there were terrible floods. And they were in some house coming along the road, and the woman wanted them to stay all night, but no, Daddy, he said he wanted to get on home.
They took the short and direct mountain road over Glentower and past the base of Sleafsnot, where the streams were swollen to 10 times their normal size, and in some places were literally raging torrents. The hills on all sides slope down to the river from Sleafsnot, and there are no trees in these vast slopes, miles in extent. It is nearly all virgin bog, so there was a large area to act as a catchment for the torrential rain, and no obstruction on the land to border its swift flow down the river in the bottom of the valley, to which the deceased had descended just after the waters had attained their maximum strength and depth.
And he was coming down in the harness, and the river was flowing just down below it, and there was this drain onto the road, and it was all flooded, and my horse went into it. There was a bridge over the river, but there was no bridge. There's a bridge on it now where Mummy and Daddy come through, and they were swept into the river. Must have galloped off then. And their 2 bodies was got down nearly in front of our own house in the morning, and the horse was out grazing on the home.
Well, Mammy told me that she was getting up for school one morning, the morning after the Cairn Fair, and she told me, oh God, it was a real bad night that night, and wild storms. And when she looked out the window, she looked down onto this hole here, and she saw Ned's horse down in the field. and she said something was wrong because, you know, Ned's horse wouldn't be down the field we got there. And she said then that the alarm was rose, and I don't know if she raised the alarm or not, but the alarm was rose and the people went looking for them. The long white house there, with a couple of bushes in front of it, because my mother was born there, and her whole family. And her father and mother was in Cairn that same day, the fair. They wanted to stay the night. The weather was too bad to come home, so they did stay the night.
Mr. Doherty's body was carried about 700 yards down the stream, and his wife's a little further, and almost to the door of their home, which stands on the hillside slope. The cart was clearly turned right over the flood, as when it was found, both wheels and sides were gone and had not yet been recovered. The pony, strange to relate, succeeded in extricating itself and was discovered the following morning calmly grazing in a field not far from the body of Mr. and Mrs. Doherty. The latter were found by a search party. The husband's body on the grass beside the Crana River, and his wife's a little further below, entangled in a bush on the bank. Mr. Doherty's body was without his overcoat and his jacket coat, evidence that he had managed to divest himself of both in a desperate but unfortunately unavailing attempt to fight a way to safety for his wife and himself through the boiling waters. The tragedy cast a gloom over the whole Illies and over Buncrana too, where the deceased were well known and highly respected, and deepest sympathy is everywhere extended to their orphaned family in their irreparable and tragic bereavement. They leave 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters, the youngest a child of 9 years. An inquest was held on Friday evening by